Hello there, good afternoon, and welcome to the OGTV News at 2. I am Babatunde Akimbe. You can watch us live on Facebook at Ogun TV and Ogun State Television, YouTube at OGTV Abeokuta, and OGTV website on www.ogtv.com.ng/live. And for this news and reports, you can check us on these platforms: X at Ogun TV, Instagram at Ogun State Television, or download OGTV app on Apple Store and Google Play Store. Now the news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has submitted a fresh list of 32 ambassador nominees to the Senate for confirmation days after forwarding an initial set of 3 candidates. In 2 letters addressed to the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, the President requested swift consideration for 15 career nominees and 17 non-career nominees. The career list features 4 women, while 6 women appear among the non-career nominees. Notable non-career nominees include Barrister Ogbonna Kalu of Abia, former presidential aide Rena Omokri of Delta, former INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu, former Ekiti State First Lady Erelu Angela Adebayo, and former Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. Also listed are former Katsina House of Assembly Speaker Tasiu Musa Megari, former Plateau State Commissioner Yakubu N. Gambo, former UBEC Deputy Executive Secretary, and former Plateau Senator Professor Nora Ladi Dadat, former Lagos Deputy Governor Otumba Femi Pedro, former Aviation Minister Femi Fani Kayode of Osun, and Barrister Nkechi Linda Ufochukwu of Anambra State. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has welcomed Nigeria's re-election to the Council of the International Maritime Organization in Category C for the 2026-2027 biennium, describing the development as a strong endorsement of the country's rising influence in global shipping governance. The election took place on Friday, November 28, during the IMO General Assembly in London, making Nigeria's return to the 20-member Category C Council after 14 years' absence. In a statement issued by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, President Tinubu said the victory reflects the international community's confidence in Nigeria's commitment to maritime safety, security, environmental protection, and adherence to global regulatory standards. The President commended the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, staff of the ministry, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, and the country's diplomatic team for their dedication, strategic engagement, and professionalism that secured the re-election. He noted that the new mandate aligns perfectly with his administration's agenda to harness the full potential of Nigeria's blue economy, modernize maritime infrastructure, intensify the fight against piracy, and solidify the nation's position as to West and Central Africa's leading shipping hub. President Tinubu assured the global maritime community that Nigeria stands ready to collaborate in promoting safer seas, cleaner oceans, more efficient shipping systems, and fair, innovative regulation worldwide. On to the state now. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has described culture as gold mines that need to be harnessed to attract tourists and create jobs in order to boost the nation's economy. Speaking at the 39th Akesan Day celebration held at Christ Apostolic Church Grammar School, Iperu Remo, Ikene local government area of the state, Abiodun noted that many countries across the world have diversified their economies through culture and tourism. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiu reports from here.
Akesan celebration synonymous with people of Iperu Remo in Ikene local government, Ogun State. Engagement of people and the economy of the area. Governor Abiodun, while referring to the importance of the day, emphasized that culture not only promote shared identity and social harmony, but also instill values such as unity, honest, and communal responsibility that are key ingredients for societal development. It reaffirmed his administration's commitment to promoting culture, preserving history across Ogun states.
Commit ourselves to building a stronger and united Iperu land. One where culture fuels creativity, where creativity fuels progress, where progress fuels prosperity for all. Through this unity culture and purposeful leadership, a brighter and more prosperous Iperu land is not only possible, it is within our reach.
Abiodun also commended President Bola Tinubu for his efforts to revive the nation's economy through reforms, assuring that Ogun State would continue to align with the federal government for the benefits of the people.
Ogun State remains firmly aligned with your mission of inclusive growth, grassroots empowerment, and cultural renewal. Our local efforts echo and strengthen your national priorities, ensuring that your vision for prosperity resonates with every community across Nigeria State and indeed across Nigeria nation.
Similarly, Commissioner for Culture and Tourism in the state, Honorable Sheson Fagbemi, described Akeson Day as a rallying point for cultural promotion and a platform for charting the future of the community.
Your steadfast commitment and passion have ensured that this treasure celebration endured as a radiant symbol of cultural pride, unity, and inspiration for all humanity.
The Akarigbo and paramount ruler of Remoland, Oba Babatunde Ajayi, lauded the people of Ikpe for sustaining their traditions and congratulated the organizers for putting together a befitting event. In his remarks, Chairman Ikperu Akeson Community Development Association, Taiwo Oyebanji, said the town has recorded significant progress in the past years in the areas of road projects, physical development, and erosion control.
We are calling on all Ikperu indigenes, especially those in diaspora, to continue lending their involved support to community growth initiatives.
Rather, it is a pride of entry into that playing field. Therefore, let us all prepare, bequeath for successive generations the legacies of excellence, the legacies of enterprise, and the legacy of professionalism.
He pleaded for stronger unity in the pursuit of peace and progress, while calling for the amicable resolution of boundary issues, improvement in local security, enhanced power supply, and the completion of ongoing projects in the community. Yusuf Ganiyu, OGTV News.
And away from culture and its value chain to labor matters, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has suspended its 29-day nationwide strike after the federal government met part of its demands. However, the union warned that it will resume industrial action if the remaining conditions are not fulfilled within the agreed timeline. The Secretary General of NAT, Dr. Shuaib Ibrahim, told our correspondents that the strike, which began on November 1st, 2025, was suspended following deliberations at an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting held on Saturday. The strike was suspended following the Memorandum of Understanding was signed with the federal government regarding the 7 conditions we will consider before suspending the strike. 2 of the 7 demands have been met, and the remaining 5 are to be met within 4 weeks, according to the MOU signed. The professional allowance table has been released, and a directive has been given to the head of service that the entry level for doctors should be Commence 3. So the strike has been suspended immediately, he said. However, Shuaibu emphasized that the association will not hesitate to resume industrial action if the federal government fails to meet the remaining demands within the agreed time frame. And in a related development, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has summoned leaders of its various branches nationwide to the national headquarters in Abuja for a meeting. It was gathered that the meeting will hold today at the Festus Iyayi Building, University of Abuja. Some leaders of the union had already arrived in Abuja for the meeting, it was learned. A senior member of the union's National Executive Council, who spoke on condition of anonymity, confirmed the meeting in Abuja. He said the aim of the meeting was to brief leaders across various universities on the status of the engagements between the federal government and the union's leadership. The NEC member noted that a decision on whether to embark on strike will be taken during the meeting. As of now, it is not clear whether the union will embark on strike or not. The Ogun State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, has clamored for a society that desires growth and socio-economic transformation, continuity of development, continuity of developmental initiative and innovation. Professor Arigbabu made the statement during a day workshop organized by the ministry in collaboration with the Ogun State Skills Fund for the key stakeholders in the sector. Arigbabu charged stakeholders to take advantage of the workshop and embrace the new wave of technological innovations and initiatives of the present government.
Announced the ministry, structuring the ministry, starting to support what happen. So then we decided the initiative to a lot of this one. Let us be open, let us be ready to actually keep with this change and be change.
Also speaking, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mrs. Oluwatosin Oloko, enjoined participants to ensure the effect knowledge gain in the workshops in their day-to-day activities, adding that self-development will also go a long way to improving their service delivery. In his presentation, the resource person who doubled as skills development consultant of the Ogun State Skills Fund, Engineer Adeshegun Fatoki, hinted that Ogun State was the only Certiport accredited center and national skills qualification awarding body in the country. And away from education to the judiciary, the Chief Judge of Ogun State, Honorable Justice Mosumola Dikpeolu, has urged for greater empowerment and access to justice for survivors of sexual violence. She made a call during an empowerment program organized for survivors at the Nigerian Bar Association Hall, Leme, Abeokuta. Our reporter, Blessing Taiwo, was at the event, and her report is presented in this package.
As incidents of sexual violence and the traumatic effects on survivors and families persist, civil society and justice institutions are stepping up interventions. Empowerment program organized by the Edford Foundation for Justice in collaboration with advocates against sexual violence aims to equip survivors with knowledge, psychosocial support, and practical tools to navigate the justice system.
Healing is not a privilege, but a human right. And healing is not forgetting about what they did to you. It's about remembering who you are.
The Chief Judge of Ogun State, Honorable Justice Mosumola Dikpeolu, is represented at the event by Justice Adetokunbo Jibodu. In a keynote message, the Chief Judge pledges that the judiciary will work to make the journey from violence to justice supportive and dignified. She urges that courtrooms become spaces where survivors feel heard and protected rather than re-traumatized.
Let us build a system where the path from violence to justice is not just a labyrinth of pain, but a clear, supported, and dignified journey.
Legal and mental health experts, justice advocates, officers of the Nigerian Police Force, and the representatives of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions lead seasons on mental health support, evidence collection, and navigating legal procedures as a survivor. Organizers explain the inspiration of the program, outline its key objectives, and details the support system available to survivors, including counseling services, legal aid referrals, and community-based follow-up mechanism.
One of the problems we discovered is that survivors of sexual violence find it difficult to speak up and then they don't know, they're not aware about the steps they need to take in accessing justice for sexual violence.
Speakers encourage survivors to report incidents and to make use of available support, stressing that speaking out is a critical step toward obtaining justice and preventing further harm.
The call is on us to continue to support survivors. Let's not contribute to their problems, but rather see how we can help them to navigate whatever challenges they are facing.
A number of survivors share personal testimonies describing the impact of the assaults on their lives and how access, support, and information has aided their recovery and pursuit of justice.
It is important that you know that you are not what happened to you. What happened to you is only an event. It is not your identity. Because many times when this kind of things happen, you assume that that is who you are, and that is what results to many people going into prostitution.
The program finishes with a question and answer session, allowing participants to raise concerns, seek clarification on procedures, and learn how to access immediate and long-term support services.
To other stories now, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, recorded a strong financial outing in October 2025 with 5.07 trillion naira in revenue, 447 billion naira profit after tax. This is as crude oil and condensate production slide to the lowest level in 10 months, according to the National Oil Company in its latest monthly performance report. The report said the country pumped 1.58 million barrels per day of crude oil and condensates in October, slipping down from 1.61 million barrels per day in September and marking the lowest monthly output so far in 2025. The year began strongly at 1.67 million barrels per day in January before fluctuating across the months due to the production disruption, asset downtime, and crude theft in key corridors. NNPC, however, said production recovery efforts were ongoing across its joint venture and production sharing contract assets, with industry-wide collaboration intensifying to stabilize output. And to empowerment progress now, over 380,000 students have received cash gifts of 57,750,000 to support the payment of tuition fees, marking a full year of humanitarian service across undeserved communities. The Trisonet Metaverse community is celebrating its first anniversary, a milestone that highlights its growing impact on education and youth development in Nigeria. Nkem Agu was at June 12 Cultural Center, Abeokuta. Our reports.
The Trisonet Metaverse community, an organization committed to providing humanitarian and educational focused support to underprivileged communities in Nigeria, marks its first anniversary. The celebration attracts community leaders, humanitarian advocates, youth groups, volunteers, and beneficiaries who gather to reflect on the organization's achievements and growing contributions to community development over the past year. Chief Executive Officer of the Trisonet Metaverse Community, Evangelist Happiness Etu, expresses deep appreciation to partners and volunteers whose commitment continues to strengthen the organization's mission.
Recently, because of the situation of the entire world, not Nigeria, globally, Trisonet is the first environment in the net that created a portal through which children can also go to school through their parents' television.
National Coordinator of the organization, Ogun State Chapter, Ambassador Oladimeji Salami, advanced humanitarian services through technology-driven initiative and community-based interventions.
I have over 100 agents who have resigned from government work. They have resigned from one vocation or the other and concentrate as an agent of Trisonet Metaverse community because they believe financial issues.
The keynote address, delivered by an education expert, Abdulsabu Salam, highlights persistent challenges confronting Nigeria's education sector, including poor infrastructure, inadequate funding, outdated curricula, and insufficient digital exposure for learners.
The first issue that needs to be tackled is the prevailing economic hardship tied to unemployment. Through our various institutions, government must promote entrepreneurship among the youth. The existing vocational training programs should be further strengthened, while from secondary school level through the tertiary education level, no person should graduate from an institution without requisite entrepreneurial skills to establish an enterprise.
A raffle draw formed part of the event, with cash gifts presented to students to support the payment of tuition fees. Awards and recognitions were also given to partners, volunteers for their significant contributions to the organization's first-year impact journey. In Kem Agu, OGTV News.
And on a sad note, a funeral honoring Elder Judge Oluwole Akinola was held at his residence in Okeado, Lagos State. Elder Akinola passed away on August 26, 2025 at the age of 101. Ayodeji Tamori Olumi has more in this package.
A solemn yet uplifting service marked the passing of Elder Judge Oluwole Akinola at his residence in Okeado, Lagos State. Reverend Emmanuel Ajose centered his exhortation on the profound mystery of a man's life.
One thing that always affecting us is that we don't normally remember something. The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 6 says, remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of evil come.
Family members described the late Elder Judge Oluwole Akinola as a devoted patriarch and a pillar of the family.
My dad is a man that loves God. He's a man that loves his children, and he really cares. He's a very caring man, and he shows love to all of us. I miss his discipline. He has been such an influence in my life. I have learned contentment, and I have also learned hard work.
They promised to uphold the virtuous legacy of their patriarch.
Baba loves bringing everyone together every single time. So I really miss that gathering, and I hope we'll be able to carry on that legacy of bringing everyone together.
He's an elder in our church. And part of what I can even say as well is that he always wanted everybody to be okay.
I so much love him. He was a very good man. And all what I can say for now is that may his gentle soul continue to rest in peace.
Elder George Oluwole left by wife, children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Ayodeji Tomori Olumi, OGTV News.
And may the gentle soul continue to find peace in the bosom of our Lord. To the foreign scene now, tens of thousands of people have marched in the Philippine capital, Manila, demanding President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s resignation over a corruption scandal linked to government spending on flood control infrastructure. The rally, organized by the Kolusang Bayan Kontran Kurakats of the People's Movement Against Corruption, began at the Luneta National Park in Manila, with protesters marching on the presidential palace. It is the last display of public anger over the trillion-peso scandal in which powerful politicians, include Marcos' allies, are accused of pocketing billions of pesos in bribes for contracts on flood control infrastructure that ended up being defective or were never built at all. Extensive damage from the two recent powerful typhoons, which killed more than 250 people, has spurred public outrage. And to the exciting world of sports, Victor Osimhen has handed Galatasaray a timely boost after returning to full training ahead of highly anticipated Istanbul derby against Fenerbahce. The Nigerian striker had been sidelined for 11 days with a hamstring strain sustained during international duty with the Super Eagles. The 26-year-old suffered a setback in the final of the African World Cup qualifying playoff tournament in Morocco, where Nigeria were held 1-1 by DR Congo before losing 4-3 on penalties. The injury ruled him out of Galatasaray's 3-2 league win over Gengle and their narrow 1-0 Champions League defeat to Union St. Gelose, 2 matches in which his absence was clearly felt. And on the last line, in the words of Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it is done. And that was the news at 2. I am Babatunde Akebe. Good afternoon.